A very good morning to each and every one of you. Do it right, the series that pushes us to actually do it right. With a series of workshops on different topics that could help each and every one of you, we move into a different topic. A different topic, but is it really something that is different? In my personal opinion, no. It's something that we all need. Because with this recent, or not so recent, for 2 years now, a pandemic has stopped the world as we know it. So we had to change certain things. Now, are we going to let that trouble us? If we are to be troubled by something that we can't even see, and we need a microscope to see it, we as human beings are not responsible. That's why we have invited one of the best to help you understand and, most importantly, help you put you in the right track of wellness. She was in the corporate sector before joining as a head of HR for more than a decade. Then she moved into the retail fashion industry, where she focused deeply on the company goals that she actually forgot about herself bit by bit, just like you and me. But fortunately, she decided to start her own business, and due to the interest in her own fitness and wellness, she didn't start out planning to start a health and fitness business, but she was helping others that she knew who had the same problem. Busy professionals, mothers who don't have the time to go to a gym and do that training, but they can fix it themselves at home with a little guidance from coach. She just started helping her friends, that friends recommended their friends. So her circle grew one person at a time. And she delivered results, not just results, but great results. It was unplanned, but the real entrepreneurial mindset kicked in and she grabbed that opportunity. From that one friend she coached back in the day to having clients over in 22 countries all over the world. Her journey is nothing short of amazing. She is currently working with many famous companies and institutions such as PIM, SLF, IPM, and countless others. So shall we put our hands together and welcome founder of Body Pro, weight loss coach Colombo, creator of Intense Body Sculpt Method, and wellness influencer Purnima Sirivardhan. Purnima, the stage is all yours. You're on mute, Purnima.
Good morning, all. I hope you can see me and hear me clearly.
We can.
Okay, great. So thank you very much for the very generous introduction. And keeping aside whatever the qualifications and my earlier corporate experience, I want you to know me as a person first. I'm Purnima Sirivardhan, as you already know. I'm 36 years old. I'm married and I have an 11 years old daughter. So just like you explained, initially I was in the corporate sector. And then again, I was following my educational and professional qualification targets and also career goals. And at a point, I realized that I was very unhealthy. I was very unfit. I couldn't run around with my daughter when she wanted to play. And I couldn't like kneel down for a long time and, maybe do some building blocks or something with her. and I was very obese. I was in the fashion retail sector, heading HR department, and I was having so many beautiful dresses around me, and I hated myself when I walked into a changing room, and I couldn't fit into the beautiful dresses that I wanted to fit in. And I knew at one point that if I keep on going like this, there will be a point that it will hit back on my face medically, whereas I will have no choice other than reversing it, because I am medically not fit enough. But then again, my motivation was, I was thinking, why can't I change it now before it becomes a medical issue? So even right now, what I believe is, if I don't have to take a daily medicine every day for some disease, that will be my the biggest achievement. I mean, even if I don't have to take any medicine until I'm 60 or 70, that will be the most important thing for me. I want to be healthy more than anything else, and I should be able to freely move around and be physically more fit and capable in my daily activities. That was my first target. So my biggest issue was that I was very busy. I left my home around 6:30 in the morning. I wake up around 4:35 to cook and prepare myself. And I used to drive and drop my daughter to school first, and then I go to work. And then after work, I come home around 8:30, and then I have to cook and get ready for the next day. I have to iron the clothes and look at my kids' work. And towards the end of the last period of my career, I was always also doing my MBA, and I was very busy with that, and I was always exhausted, and I couldn't find a time slot and even a way to fit in and keep on following some healthy practices. Especially going to a gym was like unimaginable for me, because if you are doing it, you have to do it continuously for a period of time for you to get results. So I was really worried, and I knew that I will be in trouble soon. So what I thought was, okay, I'm going to do it somehow. So when I started the process initially, I was right after my MBA, after the graduation, and also then I could spare some more time. And I wanted to do it while I was going to work. Then again, I started switching my meals to healthy meals first, and I could only work out in the weekend initially. But I spent a good time, around 2 hours a day in the weekend. So that's how I started. And in the first month, I lost like 5 kilos. And I did my own weight loss journey slowly, because I couldn't fit into a good schedule with my work, because I didn't have a proper work-life balance. But then again, when I started helping my friends, and when it kicked off, and there were some other incidences going on, and this was right before the Easter attack, and I was thinking that I can't be working for another person and be healthy at the same time. And I was just thinking for myself, even if I'm a general manager or a CEO to a company, what if I'm unhealthy, and if I suddenly get a heart attack? I wanted to live for my kid, because I have only one child, and I was worried about her future. And I really wanted to do it for myself and my family before it's too late. So that's when I started. And as a business, if I'm speaking, I would say I look at it as problem solving. So I'm solving the same problem that I had for others, just like it was explained earlier. So I will be talking more about BodyPro.lk as a startup business little later. So I wanted to give this little introduction initially, so that you will be knowing who I am and how I started. So I have been in the industry of wellness, for the health and fitness, for like 2 to 2.5 years, officially 2 years. I'm very happy about the progress, and I would encourage you more to start on your own with my experience, and we'll be talking about it later. So let's first see what wellness is. So I want you to know first what is wellness, and how we are to take care of ourselves by ourselves. So even before you go to a coach or a trainer, you can first try it yourself. And if you fail, only then you can think of hiring a coach or going a step further. But I believe if I did it by myself, you also can do it. So that is the sole purpose of this. And I hope most of you are entrepreneurs, or otherwise there could be other professionals, mothers, very busy people in this program right now. So my biggest happiness out of this program is if you take something out of this and if you can practically apply it to your life and start doing small changes, and then when you see the results, you can do be little aggressive on it and do a little further and get some result by yourself. That is my biggest happiness. And I have to thank EduLink that they thought about wellness as one of the subjects in their program series. Because wellness is very important right now, especially with the pandemic around. You know that obesity and other non-communicable diseases, if you carry them, you have a higher chance of getting a serious version, or like your situation getting serious from COVID as well. So it has been coming to the table, and even WHO has been talking about it repeatedly, asking people to work out and switching to healthy diet, especially with COVID. And I'm sure that you will take something out of it and apply to your own life. Okay, so when I start the program, I would like to see some of you, if you are comfortable, if you can switch on your cameras, at least a few of you. Otherwise, I will feel like I'm talking to myself. So I would be really thankful if you can do it. Also, while we are in the program, if you have any questions related to what I'm talking, you can always raise your question. I would like it to be a interactive session if you are willing to do that. And otherwise, you can, ask all the questions at the end also, especially if you need lengthy explanation or if you want to ask anything out of that I'm discussing right now. Because if you take wellness, it's a broad subject, but I'm looking at a specific area within the given limited time that we have today. So I would like to move on. And first, I want you to have a little idea about what wellness is. So before we were talking about fitness mostly, or the health, or health and fitness together. But now we talk about this term wellness in the world rather than health and fitness. So we should know what wellness exactly is. So this is my favorite definition, which I have put so that you will understand it in a more formal way. That's what I want you to know first. So I would say wellness is an attractive pursuit of activities, choices, and lifestyles that lead to a state of holistic health. So I have underlined a few words and phrases here. So I have underlined active pursuit. So just as I said earlier, uh, you can start it while you are young and while you are healthy. I have to stress this. Don't wait until a medical condition or a blood report or some other diagnosis hit you on the face and tell you, look here, you are unhealthy, take an immediate action, otherwise you'll be in trouble. We don't have to wait for it. It's a reactive action. So I want this to be a proactive process. You have to decide this while you are young. Start it in your 20s when you are probably studying or while working, or whatever it is. You can start small. You can start from where you are. Start adopting one small healthy practice a day, and you can keep on developing it over a period of time. So we have to look at activities also that we can adapt to it, and also choices and lifestyle. Wellness is a choice. And when it comes to these activities or the practices or the habits, we can unlearn the bad habits that we have right now and learn new habits. So when it comes to educating yourself, learning and unlearning both are equally important. So it's about the choices you make, the decisions you take. So if you want to be healthy and fit, it is a decision. You have to decide. Some people, even though they are obese, or even if they have a medical condition, sometimes they really don't care. So especially if we look at our older generation now, if you look at your own parents or your uncles and aunties or your neighborhood, how many people get into a walking tracksuit and walk on a road, or otherwise just wear something casual, put on shoes and walk in the morning or evening as a practice? most people don't do in our early generation. But in our generation, we can say that in one way it has become a fashion, a lifestyle, which is a good trend. I would always encourage it as a fashion, so people would, choose it more, though it is a fad. And also people have realized it is very important, because now the world is open, and we are having we can see what other people in other countries are doing. If you have visited other European countries or other countries, you know that people are more keen about their activities. They would easily jump into the road, and they would start walking, and sometimes they ride a bicycle to their office, or they walk to their office. And unlike us, they're mostly staying close to their offices, so it is easy for them to walk or ride a bicycle. And so they are taking, and sometimes, like, if you look at what they're eating at office, you see that they're eating mostly salads and meat, and they're not eating most of the carbohydrates. So likewise, those are choices, decisions that you have to take. So it is about the holistic health. So I'll be telling you why this holistic health comes in when I go to the next slide. So here I have shown you a cycle. So when you look at wellness, it's not only health and fitness. There are many other aspects to it. So I have highlighted physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. So this is all for you to understand what wellness is initially. So I will start from the point in the bottom line, environmental. So whether you have a proper housing, whether your house has proper lighting, ventilation, and whether it's a healthy environment for you to live, whether you are living with people who are healthy for your lifestyle. I mean, there could be drug abusive people, or maybe like domestic violence. There could be like violence in your environment, in the society, the area that you live in. So those things affect to you. And also socially, whom you connect with and whom you interact with. What are the social institutes that you are working with, your office? So all that contribute and come in the community you are in. I mean, mainly interact with. That comes for social. And spiritual. Philosophically, how you think, how you work, how your upbringing and your maybe religion has affected you. So all this come here for your spiritual existence. That also can have an effect on you, either positively or negatively. Also emotional, the people whom you are in touch with, your loved ones, your family, whether you are in a relationship, whether you're married, whether you have children, and your relationship with them, and your best friends. So you should have a good support system when you live. You can't live alone in this world. So that affects you mentally and physically both. And also, if you look at mental, so the engagement that you have through your learning and your problem solving ability, your decision making, your creativity, and also all the other aspects that we talked about earlier, the emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental, those things affect you mentally as well. And also, if we look at physical, so I have said a healthy body through exercise, nutrition, sleep, and etc. So we'll be talking more about what are the other aspects as well. And also, I would like to say this physical and mental conditions are interconnected as well. No matter how well built you are, how nutritious you are, your body is, how well you eat. If you have any illness, or if you suffer mentally about something, if you have a problem and if you don't know how to solve it, and if you're suffering from something mentally, it will affect you physically as well. Your performance, how you do things, whether you are active, whether you are feeling energetic, how you feel when you wake up in the morning. So it will affect you physically. And also, no matter how sound you are mentally, if you carry a disease, or if you suddenly face any accident or something like that, so it will affect you mentally as well. So all these together affect us, our performances, and what we do, the success rate of what we do, and whether we are happy. The happiness is very important. So all these are heavily interconnected. So I'm not an expert to talk about the latter part of it. So we will be mainly talk about the physical aspect of it and bit of mental as well. So we'll be looking at how physically we are to develop ourselves and to take care of our body in the proper way. So that definitely it will contribute mentally as well. So, right. So I'll be starting with a bit of statistic. This could initially sound a little boring, but mind you, this is very important. And you might get a little scared also, and that is good. And we don't practice these good practices, especially because that we don't take that gravity. I mean, we are not serious about it. And it is okay to be a little scared because you should. Currently, you can be someone who is very healthy, but it is not a guarantee that you're going to be healthy forever. So with your age and when with your age, your hormone changes, and with other aspects, your physical condition also might change. So you must be very mindful and know your status so that you can take care of your own body. So if you look at these causes, probably you already know, if you look at the global deaths, or even in Sri Lanka or any country, if you look at the highest deaths in the world, the highest deaths happen due to two reasons. One is accidents, and the second one is heart diseases. So obviously, we can't do anything about this accident because it's external, it's out of our control. But when it comes to our health and fitness, we can control our diseases or reverse whatever the conditions we have right now by taking care of our body. So that's why I wanted to bring in this statistic for you to understand the seriousness. So if you look at the first two reasons for the global deaths, uh, it says the first one is heart disease, the second one is strokes. So both are related to fat deposits in your body. So heart diseases mainly happen because when the arteries get fat deposits, and strokes when your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, nutrition, or there could be a blood clot blocking the blood supply. So that's when you get your strokes. So just like that, so those are the main two reasons on the top in this 10 reasons. And also you say the ninth reason, diabetes, which we will be talking ahead, which is a very important factor, and you'll know why it is important. So let's move ahead. So all this now, the previous slide, you see that I have taken it from WHO website, and all these are taken from very reliable websites. So you can see the sources also below. So onto your left, you will see the diabetes situation. So in the world, 1 person out of 12 have diabetes. 1 person out of 11 have diabetes in the world. If you take Sri Lanka, 1 person out of 12 have diabetes. That is adults. And also cases 1.16 million. So you know that is very common if it is 1 out of 12. And also if you look at your right, we talk about child obesity there also. And out of children in the developed countries, 35 million are either obese or overweight. And 8 million in the developing countries are either obese or overweight, which is devastating and which is very serious. And also you see that 1.4 billion overweight adults are there. And I have said in the world, almost 30% of the world population is either overweight or obese. And also Kuwait is known as the world's fattest country. So sometimes this is, when it comes to diabetes and obesity, it is related with your economy also sometimes, like especially in the developing countries, when you are rich, you are fatter sometimes. And in African countries, it is, considered as a privilege when you're like rich and fat, yes. But in Europe and the Western countries, the people who are mostly rich are concerned about their, and educated are concerned about their body a lot. And they try to keep it lean, and they try to always eat healthy and adopt healthy practices. And eating healthy sometimes could be a little expensive in other countries also. And mostly in Western countries, you see the people who are in lower economy are more obese than the people who are more rich. So in different countries, different demographies, it could be different, but we can't always generalize it also. There could be specific cases. And moving to next slide. So this is also taken out of World Health Organization website. And how are we to know whether we are healthy or not? So one of the most important indicators about your health is your BMI. I hope most of you have an idea what BMI is. So if you don't know, I have put a calculation here. I'm sorry, I have bars from here and there, so I have to move it around when I'm talking to you because I can't see my slides sometimes. So body mass index, so that is your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters. But this could be little hard for you to do it manually, so you don't have to do it manually now. The world is very posh and has many the options there. So I'm sharing my browser here also, and you'll see that sorry, I have put this. I can't open this because the tabs are there. Oops. I hope you can see it. Right. So we have the TEDE calculator here. I'm not going to talk about it right now. Even you can do it right now from your mobile phone. You can type NHS UK. NHS UK is, in fact, that is the National Hospital of UK. The BMI calculator, once you type that, you can log in here. I hope you can see it. Achinta, can you see this?
We can, Purnima, can you drop that link to the chat so that the people can directly copy in and paste it?
Yes, I'll do that. So when you log in here, I'll do it a little later because with the bars here and there, it is very difficult for me to find the chat right now. Okay, so you can otherwise just type, NHS UK. You can see it in the URL here, BMI calculator. So you can put your height in either feet or even you can switch to centimeters. So we are usually familiar with inches and feet. So I will put it at like this. So 5'3" is the height. And weight, I will switch into kilograms since we are familiar with kilograms. I'd say a person who is 60 kilos and age 30, and sex I will select as female, and you have to select the ethnic group here. Sri Lankan is not there and we are very close to Indian metabolism, so I'm selecting Indian there. So you can say either you are inactive, moderately active or active. So I will be selecting moderately active here. This is an example. So when I calculate it, it will say you are in the healthy range. So if you are below 18.5, that means you are having malnutrition and is not a healthy weight. And if you are between 18.5 to 25, then you are in a healthy range, which is green. And if you are between 25 to 30, you are overweight, you have to take immediate action. And if you are above 30, then it means you have to really be serious about your health. So you can do it right now, and I'll put another one. So I'll put for a male. Okay, the male is 5'10", and he is 120 kilos, and the age is 35, and he's male. So this is an obese person now, and Indian because and he's inactive, and I'm calculating, right? So it will show that he is obese and he has to be below 79.2 kilos, and this is the ceiling rate, and this is the lowest. This is the 18.5 amount, and it is ideal to be somewhere in between. So I would suggest if you can be few kilos below your ceiling limit. So if you can be somewhere around 75 kilos in this scenario, it is good, right? Okay, so that is that. So I'm going to get back to our slide. Okay. So likewise, I would love if you can find out by now where you stand. Right. So a little bit of more statistics. So it says that in 2016, more than 1.9 billion adults were overweight, and over 650 million were obese. So that is out of 11 men and 15 women. And in all these cases, you will see that women have more of the ability, or the like, they're more prone to be obese than men, because in their mid-age, most of them get conceived and they give birth to children. So that is a very big event in their life. And with that, their metabolism change, their hormones change. And after that, they have to take care of their body more than before in a more methodical way. In 2016, 340 million children or adolescents between 5 to 19 were overweight and obese. And around 40 million children under the age of 5. So you see how important this is right now for us, because and also here you see that 1 in 8 adults in the world is obese. Now earlier we were saying that is diabetes percentage, like 1 out of 12 have diabetes in the world, and in obesity 1 out of 8 adults are obese. Right? So serious health problems, if you look at the serious health problems, if you're obese or overweight, you're more prone to have heart diseases, diabetes, osteoarthritis, and cancer. So you have to understand, if you're an overweight or obese person, you're more prone to have heart diseases or diabetes, especially. And when you age, probably after 40, osteoarthritis and cancer. In Sri Lanka, we see now, okay, this is one motivation that I say. I mean, I'm not trying to like look down upon anyone or anything like that. But, you know, when you just look at general women walking in the streets in Sri Lanka, you see like most of them are obese, like who are in our parents' age or like over 45 years old. And you see that most of these older women that we see, that when we are walking, I mean, when they're walking, they have walking difficulties. That is mainly because of osteoarthritis, especially after giving birth to your children. You might lose a good amount of, this, I mean, since the nutrition is taken from your body, even though you are given supplements, you are losing a good amount of nutrition from your body. So it is very important to take care of this nutrition in the longer run after giving birth. So take your, but don't take any supplements or vitamins or anything without a doctor's consultation. Make sure that always you go with a doctor's recommendation. Never have even vitamins without a doctor's recommendation. So they're prone to osteoarthritis more. And in Sri Lanka, cancer is very common right now. It could be the food that we eat, or the chemicals, and the current health conditions, current world conditions. But I just heard some time ago that in a day, more than 70 people, this is before COVID, more than 70 people register as new cancer patients to the cancer hospital. So it's a devastating situation in the country, because Sri Lanka is a very small country. So 70 people in a day is a big amount for Sri Lanka, which is unbearable. So if we move on, so the fundamental reasons for you to become overweight or obese, so that is increased intake of energy and lack of physical activities. Those are the main two issues. And some people might say, okay, we are fat from the genes, my mom is fat, our relations are fat. But I would say, like, when all of us are born, we are born as the maximum, we would be around 4 kilos. So from the birth to now, the main reasons for you to have your weight gaining are these two reasons. Because like nobody's gonna come and put any fat into your body or weight into your body. So even if you have any medical condition, sometimes, you know, the medicine that you take might promote overweight or the obesity. But still, if you take control of your intake of your food, and if you are active, you can still take care of it and keep your health under control, and try to be in the BMI or in the closest range as much as possible if you commit to these two factors. So why is child obesity important? Again, we are talking about it because if you're an obese child or if your child is obese, they have a higher chance of being an obese adult or an unhealthy adult. So that's why this is important. So we are done with the boring part. So we are coming to something interesting, and I have put some pictures, and there are percentages here. And these percentages are the fat percentages. So the first person, the male person, you can see that he has built his muscles, and he has very low fat percentage in his body, that is like 3 to 4%. So likewise, and if you take the lady onto your right bottom, she has 20 to 22% likewise. So I want you to look at these pictures and find out where you fit in at a glance. So this could not be 100% accurate. There are ways to find out your body fat percentage, but by the look of it, try to find out where you can locate. So I would say now, since I said that I was obese, I have even been about 92 kilos. So I would say I have been around 45%, that picture that I have been around there. And currently I guess I will be somewhere in between 30 to 35, that range. So you can likewise locate where you stand. And also, which body type do you think is healthy? You can't always be deceived by the looks, because you could be a person who is thin and still carry non-communicable diseases like diabetes or high cholesterol or something like that. And also you could be a person who is obese and do not have any medical condition. Maybe you have done your blood test in the last 6 months and everything is pretty good and you're very happy. And also you could be a person who is obese and having diseases as well. And the fourth combination is you could be a person who is very lean and having a nice shaped body, looking beautiful and not having diseases also. But remember, that is not a given and it is not going to be there forever. That is your current situation. This will keep changing with your age, with your metabolism, and with your hormone situation and many other external conditions as well. So wherever you stand right now, it is temporary. So you have to find out where you are, what your current situation is, and take care of it in the long run. Especially after 30, you have to be very mindful about what you eat and whether you are active or not. And in Sri Lanka, especially when I look at my clients, I see people who are in their 20s. I have few clients who are in their 20s and have diabetes and cholesterol, high cholesterol, and also fatty liver is very common in Sri Lanka, especially among male. Fatty liver and cholesterol is they are more than in women, and women is more prone to diabetes than men. That is what I see, but it could be very specific to the person as well. Okay, so don't take it for granted if you're healthy right now. So it has to be active pursuit. So start thinking about it now, and we'll be talking about good practices ahead. So try to adjust and your lifestyle and start practicing small things now itself. It will definitely reward you in the longer run. Okay, so we don't have to go in to length of this. So these are the main three body types scientifically. So ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. You can see the ectomorphs are very tall and lean and thin. So that is their body structure. And mesomorph are like in the medium size and they're either not too fat or not too thin. And endomorph are usually short and they're broad and they're more prone to get fat as the age goes by. And also, you can't always put people into those three categories. There are in-betweens as well. So these are the in-betweens. So you can think of where you come as well in this. Right. So, and there are other now, especially looking at your body structure. Some people say, okay, my bottom is bigger than my top, or otherwise my upper body is bigger than my lower body. My legs are very lean, but I have a big fat percentage in my upper body, in my arms and my chest and my back. So, and also some people have their fat, the highest fat percentage in their core. Their limbs are lean. Their legs and arms are lean, but they have a very big, fat percentage in the core area in the body. And there are other people who have, some people have their upper belly here. So we call it sometimes a stress tummy as well, and it could be a hernia as well. You have to check it if you have a upper tummy coming out in an unusual way, you have to meet your GP and checked it, and also athletic body. So you might fit in somewhere here or somewhere in between as well, right? Okay, and this is something important that I want to tell, and I always promote. So there is no miracle soap, according to this, a miracle soap that washes away fat, wrinkles, and tones in your muscles. So what I want to highlight here is, if any ad tells you if you eat this or if you drink this, you are going to lose weight, please don't get carried away by it, because even recently I had a friend who texted me and asked me, like there's this supplement with a picture of a nice meal and it's very expensive, and it says if you want to become thinner without working out, this is the fat burner that you should drink. And people get so happy when they see a product like that. Oh my God, I hate working out. I mean, who likes working out? Even I don't like working out. I would love to, like sit in a couch and, eat pizza and watch Netflix. Yes, everybody. But we have to be mindful. We have to be careful and think about it in a rational way. So don't think that any product that comes on the TV and tells you, if you drink this, if you eat this, you are going to be healthy, or you are going to lose your weight. It is a marketing gimmick to, I mean, even if you buy the product, if it is like, it could be like 7,000 or 15,000 or something like that, sometimes some supplements. So even one person buying one product is enough for them, and they are going to earn their whatever the portion out of it. So don't get caught to those advertisements. If you want to lose weight, if you want to be healthy, there are only two things that you have to do. You have to be mindful about your nutrition. You have to eat right. You have to take the right nutrition and not overeat. And also you have to be physically active. It could be by playing a sport. It could be by just walking. If walking is the only thing that you like to do, or if you have like physical limitations, if walking is the only thing that you can do, just walk. That is enough. You can start there, and when you keep on losing weight, you will be more active and you will be more capable, so that you can slowly think of doing other activities as well. So you can just start from where you are. So those are the only two aspects. So just don't be caught to these advertisements. That's what I wanted to say. Nothing will happen like a miracle. You have to put your effort to it. There are no shortcuts to a good health and fitness. So you have to work for it. Okay, so this is my journey. So I wanted you to see this because I wanted you to encourage, and some people still might not believe it is possible. So in the first picture, I think I was around 2021, in 2007. That is me, just before I got married. And then me in 2012 after having my child. And I obviously gained weight. I think when I got married, I was around 58, 60 kilos, somewhere like that. And then I came up to 85 kilos at the end of my pregnancy. Again, I should say that in Sri Lanka, we have very little knowledge about how we should be eating and doing any physical activities during the pregnancy. We don't have that knowledge from our culture, because our mothers and the relations, they all want us to keep on eating, and that it is enough to take the right nutrition. You don't have to eat for 2 or 3 people or anything like that. So if you are a person who is planning to have a child, be very mindful about it. Don't gain your pounds within your pregnancy, because your child will be maximum 4 kilos. So whatever the weight that is there in your body from the starting point, that is your fat, your body weight. So be mindful. And in 2013, of course, again, I think I was around 90, 92, somewhere around. And 2017, I was around 85. And again, 2019, this is right before I started my process of losing weight. I think by that time, I was around 85, 86 range. And it was in 2019, September. And that is 2020 January or February. That is, I took that picture while I was in a hike. So I was around 62 kilos by that time. So this is my journey. Currently, I'm around 65, 66 kilos. Even these days, I'm not working out for about now 2 weeks, because to say I'm under quarantine right now for COVID. So I want to save my energy. My husband and daughter was diagnosed with COVID. So we are on quarantine right now. So I'm saving my energy and trusting my own immunity system right now. So I hope and pray that whatever that I have worked for so far will pay off, because as you already know, if you're a person who is concerned about your health and fitness, definitely you will have more chance of having less symptoms. Okay, so right, okay, this is a picture that I hate looking at, and the first picture is at my absolute worst. I think I was about 92 or above. That is in 2016, and in 2020, I think the second picture when I was around 62 kilos. And on the right side, I have one of my clients. So she was around 86 kilos. She's a very young girl. When she joined, she was around 24. And the second picture is her at 62 kilos. It was a beautiful change, and she was a person who was having a big bottom and a more fat deposit in the legs and the back area. She was really worried about it, and she was really bullied, and she really wanted to get out of her obesity, and she really committed. And this is one of the transformations that I love. And if you look at this left picture, she's a doctor herself. And when she joined, she was 91 kilos, and she was really committed out of, I mean, no matter how much of work she had to work on shifts, she had to work at night, but still she was really committed to the program, and she was updating me and giving me all the information about her process and kept in touch with me. And in the first month itself, she lost 11 kilos. And she came down from 91 kilos to 62 kilos. And on to your right is another client from New Zealand. He lost around 12 kilos. Initially, he did it from home. And to mind you, all these clients have done it by doing home workouts without going to a gym. So that is what I wanted to highlight. So this client on to your right, he lost around 12 kilos initially from home. And then he went to a gym to build his muscles and to push it a little bit more, because he was like really concerned about having a nice, nice muscles in his arms and having nice abs. Right. This is another client. This is important to me because this client lost 18 kilos in 3 months. She was right after her maternity, after delivering her child. So during her maternity leave, and also COVID was there. So before her work started, she wanted to lose her weight. So she was really committed, and it's a beautiful transformation. You can see that how younger she looks and how beautiful she looks. So I always say that weight loss is like a time reversing tool. You can become and look younger, and whatever that age that you carry right now, from your birth certificate born year is only a number. You can always reverse it. You can always look better, and you can always look younger by the practices that you adopt. So that is something that I want you to internalize right now. And this is a couple that joined, and you can see that they have had a good change. And them also, this gent, he first lost like 12 kilos, and then he started with the gym. First 12 kilos he lost by only doing home workouts. And the wife also, she was around, as I remember, 81, 82 kilos, and she came down to 61 kilos. And the gent is still with me, and they are still in touch with me, and they're pushing for more right now. Right. So that is the inspiration. So I hope that you liked it, the transformations, and it motivated you as well. So I want to discuss a bit about the bad health habits that increase the risk of diseases. This is very important. Just as I said earlier, as much as learning, unlearning is also important. So especially for mothers, we see that one problem that mothers always highlight is that they are eating the leftovers of their kids. And sometimes when they are stressed out, anyone could, do the stress eating. And for your bad health, definitely eating too much has a direct relationship. I always say, you are what you eat, and 100% of your body is made out of what you eat, as we obviously know. So the quality of what you eat decide the quality of your body. That is something that you should really understand and tell yourself before you settle for a different kind of food. So when you try to eat something, or even if you're offered free food, what you should first think about is it healthy? Is it important? And how much I should eat? And is it good to eat right now, or should I skip it right now? So those are the decisions that you have to make. So thinking about your food, you have to look at the nutrition aspect a bit as well. Is this nutritious, or is it only carrying sugar, flour, and oil? Even though it is tasty, if you look at a donut, it will only have sugar, flour, and oil because it is deep fried and it is very unhealthy. But it doesn't mean that you can't eat donuts. You can eat once in a while. Probably if you just eat it once a month, yeah, no problem. But if you're a person who eats donuts for your breakfast regular basis, or like 2 3 donuts a week, it might affect you. So this frequency matters as well. And also eating too fast. When you eat too fast, sometimes you tend to eat more if you have like more food on your table. So eating slow is important, and eating in the on the go. So when you like don't prepare your own breakfast or something, you might just easily buy some junk food on your way, or otherwise you might eat a little bit more than what you should eat. Also skipping breakfast. If you technically skip breakfast to do a proper fast, that is fine. But if you skip breakfast and eat more carbohydrates or a bigger meal for your lunch, definitely it will affect your weight and your health. And also lack of vegetables and fruits in the diet, this is very important, especially in Sri Lanka. Sometimes if you're a busy person, you tend to eat less fruits. And also we mainly cook and eat everything because we are rice and curry people. So we cook our vegetables a lot, we eat less salads, which means whenever you heat your vegetables or fruits, you are losing nutrition. The moment you expose it to heat, when you are heating, the micronutrients, you will be learning about micronutrients ahead, like vitamins, mineral, the iron, you are losing all that. So you have to have some amount of raw form of vegetables and fruits for you to get the full nutrition. So lack of vegetables and fruits you have to be very careful about. And again, eating kids leftovers, and settling for junk food and fast food and over processed food, and also unhealthy snacks, and also snacking when you are not hungry, especially at the office. You might be offered free food and you are just eating because you got it and you like it. So you have to think whether you really need it and whether you're hungry before you eat something, especially if you're eating something unhealthy. And also lack of physical activity. You must be a person who is doing a desk job, or if you're an entrepreneur, you might be a person who is like working a lot of hours until late night. And also lack of sleep, which is very, very important. Don't let a medical condition hit you on the face again. So, and also people keep on watching TV series now that Netflix is there and there is like unlimited Wi-Fi and all that. So try to be very mindful about your timing. And some people play video games at night. So this timing is very important. You have to take uninterrupted sleep, at least 6 to 7 hours, if you are to be healthy. If your sleep is interrupted and if you're not sleeping enough, you can easily get high blood pressure and lead to heart diseases also, starting from irregular heartbeats. So that has happened to me as well. I got irregular heartbeats and I immediately switched my practices of sleeping. I got really scared because I'm doing everything healthy, and if I'm not doing my sleeping right, definitely I'm not going to be healthy. It will definitely affect you and me. So excess stress, lack of rest, poor sanitation, of course, not drinking enough water, which is very important. For you to be healthy, you have to drink around 2.5 liters of water a day. If you're a person who drinks less water, start now and keep on increasing little by little. You can buy a 1 liter bottle and keep it next to your desk, in the desk where you work, so that you will be motivated to have it more. And if you're a person having tobacco and alcohol or even drugs, so definitely it affects. You can start by reducing the quantities and the frequency, and you can slowly switch to a healthier lifestyle. And also too much tea and coffee and sugary drinks definitely affect you. And also not considering preventive health care, especially if you carry any non-communicable heart diseases. You have to be very careful. You have to do you have to take your reports regularly, at least in 6 months, or whatever the frequency that your doctor recommends you. So be very mindful about this. Probably you already find few things that you already do So now that I have told you, and you already know it, but when someone tells you, you know, think about it a little more. So I hope that you will start thinking about this and reversing it and fixing your lifestyle for you to have a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so I want you to know a bit about your nutrition. So you can see the plate onto your left. So this is, now I want to tell you how to eat healthy. So usually in Sri Lanka, we easily settle for 3 carbohydrate meals, which leads us to more of the non-communicable diseases, because it's unhealthy to eat 3 big carbohydrate meals, because that is excess to our body, and that is one reason for you to get uh, overweight or obese, and also it will cause many other diseases. So if you are to eat right, when you eat rice, this is the best way to eat it. So if you look at your plate, 1/4 of it or quarter of it only has to be starch. The rice has to be only quarter, or if you're having maybe we say pasta or noodles or something like that, or even bread. So it should be the weight wise at least quarter of your plate, and you should be having quarter protein, and half of your plate should be vegetables. It could be green leaves, and also you can add fruits also. So think about it. So this is the ideal healthy way to eat. So if you look at Europeans, you'll see that mostly, especially in for your dinner, for their dinner, they eat steaks and vegetables, likewise meat and vegetables mainly. So they are cutting down their carbohydrates a lot. But in Sri Lanka and many other Asian countries, we see that we consume more starch. So think about it. This is very important. Try to slowly adapt to this if it is possible. So you have to find out what are your current eating habits. You can start by logging it in a small, you can take a notebook and just, you know, write and see what you eat in a day. And trust me, you will be surprised. Keep your main 3 meals aside, whatever that you put into your mouth each time that you go to your kitchen. It could be some nuts or biscuits or uh, whatever the snacks that you see, or a piece of chocolate. And time to time, we easily just eat whatever that we see. So if you write these down on a day, you'll be really surprised how much you have eaten out of your main 3 meals. Especially most of the young people, they are not eating their main 3 meals, right? But they're eating many other things in between. So that is one reason for you to get for you to have overweight or become obese. And it is important to build new food habits, and you can start by doing this, which is very easy. I don't think this is hard. You can just try and see. And we'll say, when you eat like this, if you're still hungry, probably you can have a fruit after that, or a fruit drink or something like that, which is healthy. And also your water, tea, coffee consumption are very important. You can, I would suggest, if you're having milk tea and milk coffee, having around 2 is the best. Don't try to have more than 2. But if you're having plain tea and coffee, you can even go for like 3. You can maybe have like 1 milk coffee or 1 milk tea with 2, coffee or tea without milk. And you can have green tea. And also, it's a misconception when people say that green tea is more better than the black tea, but it has been scientifically proven that both are having the same ingredients. But for you to get the detoxing effect and the best out of your tea, you have to have it without milk and sugar. So if you can have your tea without milk and sugar, you will get more benefits. And also, you can have like flavored tea, like the ginger tea or cinnamon tea or strawberry tea without sugar. It will help you. So also how to, and also some people are addicted to coffee. It's not good. So just as I said, maximum 2 to 3 would be the best. And how to eat well and lose weight is very important. Some people think when you want to lose weight, you have to starve. Or when you do your own weight loss, sometimes what you do is you skip your meals, or you just settle for like something very small, like probably in the morning you might have a banana or a yogurt, and for your lunch you might have a little rice or like a small salad or like boiled vegetables, and at night you might just have a tea and skip your dinner. That is not healthy. Why? Because if you're not taking the nutrition right, you're going to have deficiencies in your body. Mostly those deficiencies you will not see after a longer period of time when you take your blood test only, that in your full blood report you will see that you will have deficiencies, or you might trigger some disease, and at that time when you take reports you will understand that you are having some serious disease. It could be iron deficiency, especially ladies are prone to have iron deficiency because they are having menstruation monthly also. So having right nutrition is very important to ladies more than gents, but it's equally important to everybody, I would say. And also from outside you can see things like you might have hair fall, you might have chipping nails, your skin might get dried, and you might not look so radiant. So having this nutrition matters a lot. So do it in a good way. You can, there are like enough resources available in the internet. Do some research yourself and make sure. And it is, I mean, all of us have some idea about the nutrition. We have been taught at school as well when we are young. So having this balanced meal is very important. You need to have a good amount of vegetables and fruits in your diet, a good amount of protein, and lesser amount of carbohydrates. So that is the main combination that you should have. And also, if you're a person who has a non-communicable disease like diabetes or high cholesterol or maybe fatty liver or anything as such, remember, you can reverse it by adapting to a healthy diet. How to do that? So you can discuss with your doctor, or you can discuss with a coach, you can do your own research and find out what is good for you and what is bad for you. So you can make your own meal plan, and also you can start eating like this. And if you're an obese person, I would say it is best to eat less carbohydrate always, so that you can work out a bit more and lose your weight faster. And I'll be talking about that a little ahead as well. So I have had people who have had kidney transplants and also have gone through heart diseases, and who have high blood sugar and high cholesterol and all that. And I have many clients who are even above 50. After being in the program, their GP asked them to stop their medicine because their reports are normal. Even they can first, maybe reduce their doses and stop it, but they are at a very good condition. The GP can stop the medicine for a shorter period and see how the client is doing. So likewise, you can reverse it. Imagine a person who is 55 and get to stop their daily medicine for high blood pressure or cholesterol. How happy will you be? So that is a reward, because whatever the medicine that we take, it might affect your internal organs in the longer run, especially your kidneys and your liver. So if you're in a condition where you don't need medicine, that is the best condition to be. But if you are having a condition, you have to have your medicine to keep it under control. And the other most important thing I want to tell you is, even if you carry a disease right now, remember, taking medicine only controls your current situation, and it is not solving your root cause. We say diabetics or like high blood pressure or cholesterol. How to reverse your condition and fix the root cause? Again, only by adopting a healthy lifestyle. How to do it? You have to change your food practices and you have to become active, and then you will start slowly recovering your body health-wise. Then your GP can slowly reduce your medicine, and at one point you might even be able to stop your medicine as well, but not in every situation. I mean, I'm talking about most of the common diseases. But for example, if a person is having a cancer or a kidney disease, we might not be able to do that. But whatever the condition people are in, if they adopt a healthy lifestyle, definitely it will be better. Now, for example, if you're a person who has diabetes and if you're obese, it is said if you lose 5 kilos, you are having a chance of not getting like, we'll say, if you're a person who doesn't have diabetes but who is prone to have it, if you're 90 kilos and if you lose 5 kilos, your chances of getting diabetes will be reduced by 70%. So it is that important. So your weight is directly related to your health. So if you are a person who is obese and overweight, so take action right now. Don't wait until you are too late. Okay. So
Purnima,
yeah.
sorry, it's 10:15. We'll have to pick up the pace a bit.
Yes. Okay. So here I have put some unhealthy food. You can see most of the stuff that we like. and some healthy meals. So this is a like area that we can easily go. So healthy meals can be really good, if I mean really tasty as well, if you think about it. So you can do a bit of Google search and in the YouTube as well. So here are some samples for healthy breakfast. And you have to be very mindful about the quantity as well. If you're a person who is having higher quantity, you can slowly start reducing it and stick to a reasonable quantity. And here I have put some samples for healthy diets, and some are with carbohydrates and some are without carbohydrates. So you can do a good research yourself as well. And here's a healthy dinner. And here it is important that all these dinners don't carry carbohydrates. So usually I prefer myself not having a carbohydrate dinner, because usually people tend to have a big dinner, and that's one reason people to gain weight. And also when you eat late, if you can eat little early, especially Europeans, they eat around 6, 7. So in Sri Lanka, we eat around like from 8 to 10 usually, and we immediately go to sleep. So if you can eat like 4 hours before you go to sleep, that is the best. And also healthy snacks, rather than just settling for biscuits and the junk food. If you can go for healthy snacks, that will definitely benefit you. Okay, so I have put some, healthy carbohydrates, healthy fats and proteins. You can even search this and see. You can have a good idea about it. And most of these healthy tips, we have already talked about it also. And it says that the 10 healthy tips are that you have to eat more vegetables and fruits, and eat more fish, and your protein you have to eat more, and you have to cut down on your sugar, and you have to limit your carbohydrate intake, and you have to choose the carbohydrates with a higher percentage of fiber, and you have to eat less salt or moderate amount of salt, and you have to stay active, and also drink a minimum of 2.5 liters of water, and don't skip your breakfast if you can, or unless you are fasting, and try to maintain your weight in the BMI range. So staying active at home is very important if you're a person who can't go to a gym, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You might be working extra hours and you might find it difficult to go to a gym. So you can do it at home, maybe like 3 to 5 days. If you're a person who wants to lose weight, you can do it like 5 days. And if you're a person who wants to maintain, you can do like 3 days. So you can do at home or with a personal trainer or a coach, and you can go to a gym or for Zumba, and people have enthusiasm for yoga these days. And also you can take up a sport. And also body weight. You can use your body weight and do your exercises like Zumba, aerobics, and certain exercises on a mat. Or you can do using different equipments like dumbbells and kettlebells likewise. And also you can go to a gym, or you can buy mechanical equipment and do it, and you can do a bit of weightlifting if you like. And also, if you want to do your own exercise, you can take like 6 minutes to 10 minutes for some dynamic stretching exercises first, and then you have to go to your main part, whereas you do a bit of cardio first for like, we'll say 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And if you're a person who wants to lose weight, you have to do more cardio, about probably 1 hour or like 30 minutes to 1 hour, I would say, depending on the days that you do. And also then you can do some core strengthening and specific places strengthening exercises. You can do a bit of research, or you can talk to a trainer or a coach and find out if you can't do it by yourselves. And also at the end, you have to do some relaxing stretching exercises. You can take another 5 to 6 minutes and warm down. Remember, warming up and warming down are very important. Don't take it for granted. Please do that as well. So, and here I have put a small post. This was on Cosmopolitan, and it says that obese is healthy. You could be an obese person or a overweight person, but you can be fit. Being fit and obese or overweight are two different things, and people promote body positivity a lot, where it could be non-beneficial or deceiving for people. Whereas if you're healthy, if you're obese and healthy right now, just as I said, it's a current condition and it will not be there forever. So don't think, okay, I'm happy with what I am and I'm okay, I don't care what people think and I'm healthy. it might change ahead. So you have to definitely take action on it. Don't be deceived or deceive yourself by too much of body positivity. Definitely, it's a proven factor. If you're in your BMI, if you're active, and if you're eating healthy, it will definitely reward you. That is a big message that I want to tell you. Right. Okay, so I think most of these also we have spoken earlier. And one thing I want you to see is, I want you to see this video a bit. This is a very small video.
Purna, you might need to turn on your mic. We can't hear the audio.
Really sorry for the technical difficulty. I want you to watch this because this is very important. And these are some of my clients doing home workouts. You can see even the kids are joining. It can be a family effort. Hope you enjoyed the video. I showed it because, in fact, it's very important. So with the pandemic, it's very hard for us to go out. Sometimes it's very hard and it's not good to be in gyms. And if you're a person who had been already going for a gym, you might have been disrupted by now. Or else you might be a busy person who can't go out and, allocate like hours of time to do workouts. So I hope this video encouraged you. There are some hard things, some hard workouts also, but you can keep them for later. So if walking is the only thing that you can do, you can walk in your lane, and you can, simply put a 30 minutes, 20 minutes video from YouTube and do a little workout from home. You might not need much space. You can even do it from a room. And I would encourage you to start it right now. Uh, you could be young, you could be healthy, but definitely it will make you fit and it will make you better in terms of your health and fitness. Okay, so I want to move into Body Pro as like a startup business. So here, in fact, I don't want to talk so much about it. I want you to ask questions if you have any. So I have put screenshots of my website, that is bodypro.lk, and also down there I have a fan page. So when someone searches me on as Body Pro, you can, in Sri Lanka, they will see my official website, which I think is very important and gives me validity. And as a established business, so I wanted my nice website to be up there from the very beginning. And I chose my domain, and I didn't want anyone else to purchase my domain. And also I have a Facebook fan page. In fact, in my case, I have most reach in my Facebook fan page, and I haven't been putting advertisement for more likes, but the quality wise, the engagement and the quality of the clients that I reach are higher. Even though I don't have much likes, and I'm not after likes when it comes to my Facebook and my Instagram. So towards the right, you can see my Instagram page as well. Usually I keep my Instagram page as a gallery where I display the before and afters of my clients. So when someone wants to come to me and join me, now, for example, if you go to a job and join a certain position, they want to know, what did you do before? What is your experience? So what have you done? What is your track record? So just like that, when a client comes to me, that client wants to know what are the successful stories and who are the people that I have helped and whether it has been successful. So if they had to go through my Facebook fan page, and if I post too much in my Instagram, they won't be able to find it out. Especially if you go to my Facebook fan page and click, you will see a lot of posts on food, and it could be workouts and motivational posts. And you can't see much about my clients immediately. But I wanted a space where they can immediately see the clients and the before and afters. So I choose Instagram in that case for them to see the success stories. And you can see about in the stories of the Instagram, you can see about the coaching programs, the webinars that I have done, and the testimonials and lot more, and also the food plates and displays also you can see. So that is how I have designed my Instagram. So currently in most of the businesses, in whatever the business that you are in, having a proper display and showing who you are is very important. And especially if you're planning to go above and beyond your demographic area. Especially in my case, now you see that I have clients from 22 different countries. So they are mainly Sri Lankans, but I have some other nationals as well, like Indians and Malaysians, and one Caucasian I have. So likewise, if you have a good reach and if you know how to handle different kind of clients, you can always go beyond the boundaries and reach many more people. So and also the next slide is very important, I would say. So this is onto the left, you see one of the ads I have created, and which is usually now these days, I think once I had a sponsored ad from this, and I don't put sponsored ads probably in the entire period of 2 years. I think I have put like 3 ads only, because what is most important when it comes to my business is word of mouth. So it is the organic growth that I have mainly. So my clients are my advertisements. So when I give a proper good service and take care of my client will speak of it. And when my client has a good result, when that person goes out to the society, their friends, their family, their office people, and if they're studying at an organization, some institute, whoever that they see get really impressed and they ask, how did you do it? And sometimes even, I mean, when I lost my weight, when I'm walking in the street, the people that I even don't know have stopped and asked me, oh my God, you have lost weight. How did you do that? So that happens. So I give a good service to my clients and they will definitely speak for me and they will definitely bring me more clients. So whoever the client that you have right now, take care of your client and give them your best service. They will definitely help you to, you know, uh, make your business bigger and bring more clients as well. Now, when it comes to my program, currently I have around 16 doctors in my program as well. It's because this I had one doctor initially who joined me, that is Dr. Madhubashini down there. You can see one of her comments as well. She in fact lost 3.5 kilos in 20 kilos in 3.5 months. So when other doctors, her friends saw her, they were interested and they joined, and also they recommend me to their uh, obese clients. Or also, I mean, when they get patients who are really obese, you know, their family doctor might not be able to take care of it, so they recommend me to go and join to my program when they think that it is really at a dangerous situation. So your clients will definitely speak for you. And also, if you're maintaining a Facebook fan page, be mindful about the reviews. I have a picture of screenshot about the reviews. So one comment that I get from when I get a new inquiry, they say, yes, I have gone through your reviews. I know all about it. I have seen impressive reviews. So your reviews matter. People read reviews. So be careful, treat your clients well. So you might even get bad reviews if you don't take care of your clients well. Because in this industry, I have seen enough and I have heard enough. Usually I charge monthly, but most of the trainers, they charge for 3 months. So you might go and pay like maybe 15,000 or 20,000 and sometimes even more than that for 3 months. And then sometimes they don't care whether you lose your weight or not, because they have already paid. And even if you lose, if you drop out, they really don't care. So they might get bad comments for their service and they speak of it as well. So giving that service matters and your reviews matter. People definitely read your reviews. And also, there's another comment onto my right. It is by another doctor. Actually, she also lost 10 kilos in 1 month. And you can see what her, she also, I think she's planning to have another baby. Her VOG has told her that it is impressive that she has lost a lot of weight and she has developed super fertility in her. So I was very happy to hear that. So these client comments matter a lot. So when I started the business, obviously, yes, I started from one client and they kept on bringing more clients to me because I gave a good service to them. So as an online platform, of course, I was savvy with my technical literacy. So it helped me a lot. So I do most of the things by myself. So if you need to, you might have to, get professional service. Now, for example, when I had to get my website done, I wanted it nicely. I got it done through a professional service. So when I have to get a post done, for example, this advertisement you see onto your left, I got it for a very minimal price from a professional. So it came out very nicely than I do it myself. So likewise, when it is needed to use professional services, use it so that you can appear in a better way. So the colors you use and the pictures you use, it always speak for yourself. It will show who you are. So make sure that you use professional services and There was a drop, right? I think I'm back.
Yes, you're back.
Right. Okay. So I would like you to ask any questions if you have any, especially Body Pro as an online platform, since entrepreneurs are here, and also if you have any questions regarding your own health and fitness, please.
Hi, Purnima. Thanks for the program. I'm a constant blood donor. Actually, I'm a platelet donor at National Blood Bank. So I don't have done 30 more donations. But is there a correlation between gaining weight and donating blood?
Well, there is no direct relationship. I mean, you might have an right after donating, probably in the first 2 3 days, there could be. I mean, anyway, weight is usually fluctuating, so there is no scientific background to it. And also it could depend from one person to another person, because sometimes, when we donate blood, we are more concerned about what we eat also, because we know that we have lost some nutrition and we want to gain it back. So usually we eat a bit more than usual as well, and we think more about our nutrition. So that could be one reason, because we purposely eat a bit more. But I personally believe there is no scientific background to it. So usually, definitely after donating blood, in the next week, you really have to take care of yourself, and you have to rest for 2 days or something like that, and eat well to regain it. And I really appreciate that you have been a blood donor and a platelet donor. It's really important. I think I answered your question.
Thank you very much.
Purnima, few people have texted me on WhatsApp asking for the presentation. If you could share it with me, I could share with these people.
Okay, I'll do that after the program.
All right. So we are a bit behind schedule. So if you could ask your questions directly right now.
So we can end it soon if you ask your questions. So if you have any personal health related questions also, you can ask. And also I should say that I had few clients. I told you, like, I had one client who has done a surgery on her back, like on the spine, and there were other clients who were really obese and they were old. So there were people who couldn't even walk 5 minutes when they joined, but they kept on increasing probably a minute or two a day, and at the end of the month they are walking like 40 minutes. And even I would say, keep weight loss aside, that itself is a big improvement, because they are more capable in their body. So even if you have a problem right now, even if you're suffering some illness, or if you have a difficulty or some restriction in doing any physical workout, even if you can walk 1 minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, start where you are, and you have to slightly improve it one day at a time. And definitely you will get better results, and you will be more capable. It's all about starting. You have to show up. You can't be giving excuses. I always tell my clients, if you give excuses, you can never do it. I'm a prior HR person, but I say, to me, motivation is a lie, because you can't wake up and expect all the motivation in the world to hit you and get you to do something. If you want to do something, you have to understand, you have to do it, and you have to make it a discipline. You have to do it whether you like it or not. That's what I believe. So it could be, it could be like a rainy day, you might be feel very lazy to do it, but if you don't do it, you're not going to get results. So if you do it, definitely you're getting results. So understanding that you have to show up to your workout, you have to eat healthy. So giving excuses will never work. So understanding that you have to discipline yourself little by little. You might not be able to do everything at once, but you can slowly adopt it, and keep doing better day by day, and come into a certain level and start practicing it continuously. And continuity matters a lot. Just by doing it for a week or two, you can't expect results. You might have to do it for a longer period of time, at least for 2 months continuously, without skipping it. And also some people complain that they do a lot of things but they're not losing weight. That's because they do it for 5 days, like we say 5 working days, they're doing it perfectly, and then they go out with the family in the weekend and they are eating their heart out and they don't work out, and they're regaining what they lost in the first 5 days. That is one big reason why people are not losing weight. So you do 5 days perfectly, and you might even suffer it, and then you break it for a day or two, and you're back at where you started, and you're not going to have result. So be very mindful about it. That is something I'm missing, so I wanted to say it. So if you have any question, you can ask.
So if there's no questions, I would like to
That's very surprising.
I would like to offer Purnima a virtual token of appreciation from our end, from EduLink, because you took your time off to educate all those who came today. So please do accept it. With that, I think we can wrap up because we have lectures planned as well. So.
And also, if you have any questions, you can, reach me on my Facebook fan page also. And if you if you have any people who need to lose weight, you can spread this, message for them. They can also join Body Pro. And also, I share like a lot of meals and workouts and many other, motivating things in my Facebook fan page. So you can have a look at that as well for you to motivate yourself and your family. And I hope all of you will have a very healthy life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.